Bench Opinions. Three idiots with amateur analysis.
Welcome to another week of Bench Opinions. You've got Dom, Klaus, and myself, Max, joining you on the couch for our What a Week segment, where we just chat about life, love, and Dom's mosquito bites.
Yeah, we can dive into that. Also, short little mention. I mean, we would probably mention this in the first episode that comes out this week, but to 100 subscribers.
We've made it to 100.
Woohoo.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening. To those who've subscribed, we're very grateful that you think that this is informative.
I might buy myself some longer pants now with all that money.
Yeah.
There's actually a nice video that was produced of Maxi and I celebrating in bed with a little whipski.
Don't say celebrating in bed. You've got to
Consummating the subscribership.
And after the video was made, Maxi didn't want to post it anymore. He got cold feet.
Whoa. So we got home and we were drunk. And then I think we were just like sort of just pottering about. And then
one thing led to another.
Like, oh shit, we've got 100 subscribers. And then Klaus says, oh, we've got to celebrate. And I'd made him clean his room that day. And we found his little, the little sachet of whiskey we got from...
From
Craig.
Balcomi links.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he poured us that. And then we sort of sat on the bed and toasted to it. And then a video was made. But that's not going to see the light of day.
You can show me later.
I'll show you later.
It was similar to the one that we sent you.
Okay.
So it's not, I don't think it's worthy of the 100. Maybe when we've reached.
We had about a 2-day back and forth whether it should go on or not. And I said, even though it's so awkward, I think it should go on because I think that's what people would like to see.
It'll go on awkwardly when we're like at 1 million. And then we'll say, look where we came from.
Look how we celebrated 100.
Yeah. But we do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet and you do listen regularly, why not just click that subscribe button?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Yeah,
exactly.
We treat you every week to Dom's legs that you get full view on.
Body positivity.
Body positivity podcast this, and he ain't stopping.
We get 50 likes on this video, then we post that video.
Oh, I think then people will be disappointed with it. On the other hand, I don't think we need to work on what it's worth risk reward ratio is. Yeah. Dom, tell us about your weekend in Munich. You watched some golf.
Yeah, I went to go watch the friend of the podcast, I would call him, or our friend, Jacques Kruijswijk, play at the BMW International Open in Munich. Very cool. Always one of the highlights of the year, I must say. I obviously being heavily obsessed with golf, but also being able to then support someone that at a tournament like that is great. He also played some incredible golf roller coaster style as well. So as an onlooker, it was... Yeah, he didn't make it easy on himself, but then really showed his stuff on the weekend and finished tied 19th, so top 20.
Nice.
Which is really good. And I mean, it's like I said, it's always a very incredible highlight. It's good to be in that kind of an environment. You sort of behind the scenes. I had lunch next to Luke Donald, for example, the one day, and it's pretty surreal.
Did you give him some tips on Ryder Cup picks there?
No, I told him, I would have told him not to pick Sergio Garcia, who was missed the cut and was plus 5 after 2 days. No, but he looks very relaxed, and why wouldn't he be? But very cool, and it's also just amazing to see people. The level of competition is pretty a very interesting place because there's sort of obviously camaraderie, but there's a high level of competition and people doing their thing at the highest level. So very cool to see. A lot of Germans.
I mean, we're in Germany. So
very irritating Germans.
You'd expect to be surrounded by Germans.
That know a lot about golf, apparently, but know nothing at all. So that was quite funny to hear some of the... No, we were doing our thing and following.
What was happening around the golf there? Any nice dinners? Any nice excursions in Munich? Beautiful, beautiful city.
Well, you told us off there that you visited Birkenstock.
Yeah. Birkenstock was seen, very full. Birkenstock needs to change their approach to their stores. Because I think their whole approach is that let's make this thing no bigger than the boxes in which we sell our fucking shoes.
So where Apple decides it needs high ceilings,
exactly,
very minimalistic. Birkenstock, it says let's make it tight.
They want to make it intimate.
Yeah.
Look, in the Munich store, for example, it created a lot of a fuss because there was a fucking queue out the door. Only because 3 people at a time could turn in that store. But people stopped. They were like, are they closing? Have they just opened? Is there a sale? I'm like, I don't know. I don't fucking understand why I'm in this line.
Going out of business.
And it had a security guard. So it's like, I don't know. It was a bit much. But we did that. But yeah, Munich's a cool city. I think when you move away from a place like Berlin, I'm always quite shocked at obviously how many tourists there are.
Yeah.
But
amazingly popular. Hey?
yeah.
Especially with Asian tourists.
That's true. I sat in one Starbucks and I was like, "Whoa, I'm the one Caucasian in here." But yeah, it's just completely different to Berlin, but still Germany at the same time. But yeah, I did the usual Hofbrauhaus. The beer's always flowing there.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Nice. Well, while you were away, Klaus and I have shown our apartment to our real estate lady. So our landlady is obviously selling the apartment. So she tried to sell it first on her own, but now she's got a real estate lady. And she's now started doing appointments with people here. And the whole thing is she asks us, when do we have time? We tell her when we're home so we can let her in. And she's got way too comfortable with...
It's a cringe.
Like with us. Like with the first time she met us, she already... She just shared way too much, just immediately told us how she's standing naked on her balcony and like found her apartment in like some sketchy way with some dude who like fucking like flashed her, and now he's now she got his apartment and stuff. Just a lot of information. But now the last time that she came here took the cake, because she came here at 1.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, she came here at 1, walks in the door, sits down on the floor here.
Well, first asked us if we got crockery for her so that she can eat her sandwich.
She's brought herself a sandwich. So she comes in, she sits on the floor. So we're like, no, you can sit on the couch. She's like, no, I prefer to sit on the floor. So she sits there and eats her sandwich. And Klaus and I, we've gotten to a point now with this lady where I don't want to talk to her anymore. It's a fucking uncomfortable situation. You're not my friend.
She's also just weird.
Yeah. You're trying to sell the place that I live in. You're trying to get me out of here.
Yeah.
So she's sitting on the floor.
The enemy.
eating her sandwich. Then she finished the sandwich. She says the first guy's cancelled. So now she's got like an hour before the next guy comes.
Oh, God.
So we've got an hour to spend with her. And then she's like playing on her phone a little bit. And then she's like, oh, I'm so tired. I got so drunk yesterday. And then we were like, okay. And I was like, well, you can sit on the couch here. She was like, okay. She fucking goes to the couch. And then I'm like, you know what? This is too uncomfortable for me. I'm going to go to the hairdresser. And then after the hairdresser, I went for coffee. I was like, I'm getting out of this apartment for a long time. Klaus, what did she do?
Dude, did she not go and lie down and have a nap?
This lady had a
you
nap.
not, bro.
So Klaus is sitting where you are, and she's sleeping right next to him.
Like 30 centimeters away from me whilst I'm trying to work.
This is the realtor who's selling this apartment.
You know what? You guys have got to get on that phone and to your landlord and be like, she's brilliant. Because you got to phone and be like, honestly, look,
This
obviously
thing is going to be gone.
Obviously, this is not in our favor at all, but I have to praise you. This is fucking...
I think you're going to get double what you wanted for this apartment, because...
No, actually, she told me recently in a passing conversation, she was obviously very busy because there were a lot of people viewing the place, that it would be good to put it on the market for double the price. And honestly, if having seen her work, I would say definitely listen to her.
She can sell ice to an Eskimo.
It's just wild. Imagine you're fucking showing your house back in South Africa and the lady from Pam Golding just like, I need to take a nap.
You just find her in the 4th guest room and lying on the floor.
Just like under the sheets, just taking a quick 20 minutes.
I mean, I would say there's a fine line when it comes to sort of being in real estate, because there's a level of, I think she misunderstood that you must make the client feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Not make yourself comfortable.
Listen,
maybe her thinking is make us feel uncomfortable so that we leave this apartment.
Maybe, and she's fucking gotten me to the point.
I refuse.
Yeah, Klaus is...
I'm like, I'm going to sit here and eat my doner whilst the people come in and look at our apartment to make it as unpleasant as possible.
Yeah, but she's a great negotiator. The one guy we heard standing here, and he says, "Oh, it's quite dark," and she says, "No, it's not." And then
this lady's got it all figured out.
No, it isn't.
No,
yes, it is.
Yes,
no, it is.
You fucking gaslight the guy. You must have bad eyes.
What are we talking about in terms of age of this lady, demographic? What do you think she's
like mid to late 30s?
What do you think she's into?
Late. What is she into?
Yeah, like is she like? She gives me hippie vibes. Come sit down on.
I think she's late 30s, and I think she's into a lot of alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah. I at first thought that she was trying to proposition one of us, like that she was like. I was like, I'm not sure if the way this is going is where I want this to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an experience that I never thought I would have with a realtor. But
I was like 16, one of the people I played golf with, he was a real estate agent. He's like, Dominic, you know what? Actually, I think you would be fantastic on Sundays at open houses. I've got too many of them. Come. And there I was at 16. I had just pimple face standing there, and people came into like multi-million rand houses, and I was the guy that greeted him. I mean, the guy paid me quite handsomely at the time.
You were the greeter.
You know what? I'd show them around the house. I'd have the fact sheet and I'd answer questions. I don't know. But
did anyone ever close with you?
No, I very quickly didn't do that anymore. I don't remember if it was him or me, but I think
there's this one day where he asked you don't need to come anymore.
Yeah.
We found a girl who
just now he has to give you a cut of the commission. Then we're talking.
Well, he said he would, but maybe I actually closed, and then he was like, I don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
Cut of his cut.
Yeah,
it's probably better for you because then it's just take you off that career path. I think it's a little bit of can get a bit one-dimensional there.
But I do like the age of the social media realtor is quite funny.
Yeah,
I see there's a guy in Cape Town who speaks like in one of those TV voices. He's always like, have you got an apartment you want to sell on the Atlantic seaboard? I'm like, I would not trust you with fucking anything, my brother. He's probably the type of guy that fucking sits down on your comes in, and then he comes in and he's like, how's it, do you mind if I just have a quick sleep there? And then you see him doing the social media video and he's like, fantastically located. Oh, no, it's bad, terrible.
Almost another career for you there.
Yeah. Dodged a bullet.
Yeah. And then I got into. I used to rip you off a lot about this, but now I've gotten into a lot of true crime.
It's good shit.
Stuff there.
No, now I'm watching it with him, and I don't sleep so well at night now. I saw watching this thing about like some dude who then it turns out with his wife is like killed one of their children, and then a whole bunch of
it's that couple. What are they called? I've watched
Rose.
West.
Rose West and Fred West.
Yeah.
Dude. And then I was watching a comedy, and they were joking about like a murderer running around in the town, like the Jack the Reaper kind of thing. And I was like, nope, couldn't
Jack
sleep.
the Ripper or Jack the Reaper?
No, they were calling him Jack the Reaper in the TV show as a joke.
Okay.
And I couldn't sleep. I was just kept on waking up. It's like, where's Fred?
There are a lot of very fucked up people out there. I was having a conversation today with someone that I hadn't seen in a while. It was sort of through like work kind of thing, and I hadn't seen him in a while. So, and he starts telling me about, and then we just start talking about a couple of things. I think we spoke about Kurfürstenstraße in Berlin, where there's a lot of prostitutes, and then he was telling me that he used to live there, and whatever. And I think he kind of said, and he's like, and as he was about to start telling me about these prostitutes that I've also seen, I've seen them, we've been there, and how fucked up they are. He's like, but you know what? I want to spare you that Kopfkino, as they say in German. He's like, I don't want to give you any of these images. And I look at him and I'm like, I think to myself, I'm like, what do you think? Do you think I'm like an untouched virgin child? Like, you don't want to talk about a prostitute because, very strange.
Lady of the night.
A lady of the night, yeah.
Speaking of crazy people, I've got a story to tell about a crazy person that we encountered on Saturday night. We went to this place called Texas Town in Spandau, which is
Old Texas Town. It's like a reenactment.
A saloon. As the
I mean, there's many saloons. It's like a
little town, like main road.
Like a Western. Yeah, what do they call them? Western Post or Western? What do they call them? Outpost. There we go. Anyway, so it's got like its blacksmith, a saloon. It's got the where the sheriff is and all that sort of stuff. And
I've never heard of this place.
And I came a little bit late. I went with the Canadians. It was
flipping for a company party once.
It was flipping wild. And like you go in there and you think like, oh, it's it's like Disney World. Like it's all a bit of like theme, and it's all like a bit of like shits and giggles. But then you quickly realize there's like a full-on community who believe they are embodying that
the
sort
role
of
play and the reality mix, like into like a little bit of.
And then you start going like, wow, this place is pretty fucked. So I'm walking around and I'm like eyes wide open because I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Did you have your stirrups on?
No. And I see the Canadians. I walk up to them and our friend Lou comes up to me. She's like, Klaus, you won't believe what you've missed. They had like a full-on parade. The one dude legitimately proposed to his now fiance.
Oh my god!
He turns out to be the local DJ at the saloon, and
Jesus, a high-tech fucking high-tech
saloon.
I thought they just have some honky tonk going on.
I also thought there would be like a gramophone and there would be a guy just fucking turning. No, that was the one thing that just like killed the whole illusion
They just
of
had
it
some
all.
heavy techno. in the
Fucking
saloon.
David Guetta playing.
And they're playing some like line dancing song, and there's just this old bully standing on stage at the front with his microphone, with his cowboy hat and his cowboy boots, and his braces, and he's just sort of nodding along to watching everybody line dance. He's like, "Yes, very good, very nice. Go slow. This is a bit of an ankle breaker. Very nice." I'm like, dude, this is the weirdest thing. Anyway, so that was just the prelude to what happened next. I was there with our mate Conrad, who, like, I'm a tall oak, right? But that guy must be like another foot taller than me or something ridiculous. And he's Danish or part Danish. Some really drunk Western German comes up to him and is like,
Cow German.
Avicii, you're still alive. And he's like, what?
But he's looking at you.
No, he's looking at Conrad. Yeah. He's looking at
looks
Conrad.
nothing like Avicii.
And he's like, Avicii, you're still alive. I've been missing you for the last however many years Avicii's been dead. So Conrad goes along with the joke and he's like, oh yeah, I've just been like out working on some new tunes and stuff like that. And they start like playing about it.
Sorry, he missed an opportunity. She's like, hey, brother. That's what he should have done.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this goes on. He's like Conrad starts singing him some songs that he's working on currently. But I mean, obviously, I thought it was obvious that this guy was just playing
already
along.
left at this point.
This guy bit off more than he can choose. Conrad is the last person you want to be.
Conrad's not going to back down. He's going to take that and run with it. Anyway, so we're chatting with this guy. Must be like for 15 minutes or so, and then Conrad sort of runs out of ideas. So he says to him, he's like, "What's the crazy?" I can't remember what the phrasing was. Either what's the craziest, what's the most incorrect thing you've ever done in your life?
That's not something you ask fucking crazy people because the scope is different.
This guy, does he not say to Conrad, "Yeah, I impregnated my sister"? And I was like, no way.
It's
It's
like
like,
a mood killer.
of course, that's got to be a joke, right? That can't be real.
I think it's in play with what their like role playing is.
Yeah, bro. Fucking took Hillbilly role play to a new level.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh no, he's joking. And then Conrad was like, what? He's like, yeah, no, actually, I shouldn't talk about it.
Jesus.
And that's when I was like, okay, maybe this was not a joke. And then some other dude came up.
At what point do you just leave this guy and just like back away and
Not if
go
you're
somewhere
Conrad.
else?
No.
And Klaus also
Dude, I
sticks
was
like fly to shit with the crazies.
I wasn't, dude, to be quite honest
Like
with you,
a car crash.
I wasn't there for him. I was there for Conrad because I was watching Conrad and I thought what he was doing was hilarious. It was pretty good. And then, so, what's his name? Caleb came and he thought we needed saving. So he then got us out of it. But I was like, oh man, we were trying to find out the most juicy bit of the story.
Jesus. You know what is going to happen like 10 years down the line? The police are gonna raid that place, and it's gonna turn out it's like some weird cult, and there's a lot of fucked up shit going
100%.
on behind the scenes.
The
And then
fact-
there's gonna be an IRD document.
A bunch of
documentary
Cyclops children in the basement.
Yeah.
What I realized once I got in, I paid him about €10 to save this place because it's now getting demolished. Siemens wants to turn it into a data center.
This is literally the story of America.
Oh my god.
So you walk in, and then I look up, and I'm like, is that a Confederate flag?
We.
And I was like, no, surely not. Can't be. And then I start second guessing myself. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure that is one. And then you see guys running around like Confederate uniforms and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, this place is.
And then you suddenly realize everyone was white.
Yeah. No, we had this conversation. We were like, we should have taken Russ along. That could have been-
Oh shoot.
oh, shoot. So that was great. And then the last funny thing that Conrad said to me is like, yeah, man, I've been on hiatus. And this guy says to me, he's like, where's that? He's like, oh, no, it's an island there in the Pacific. So-
The thing is with these communities, you do bring up something very interesting. Is like you also get those like medieval, middle-aged. That's also very.
They sometimes go role play on Tempelhofer Feld.
Yeah, very strange.
But I don't know if that's like full on. I think they do. What's that movie? I think it's not. It's not Grown Ups. It's something else.
It's something similar though. Yeah, I know the movie.
where they like fight each other in the park.
Yeah,
with,
but
like,
isn't that with Stifler? The Stifler
the
from
guy from Stifler.
Yeah.
And fuck, I don't know any actor's name.
Yeah.
And that's something similar they do on Temple of Fate. There's like, I saw them stand on like 2 lines, and then it's almost like,
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Well, they
that's
reenact battles.
they
eh?
run
Like-
at each other and they fight, and then people
but
die.
that's fine. But then you get the full on like fairs, where like the guys are also like making potions and cuck like that. It gets very, and some people take that shit far too seriously.
Have you seen the reel with that guy who's like in one of these like medieval reenactment things, but with like mages, right? So it's like all mystical and fairy tales. And they find a dead guy in the woods, and he's like, and then I got Josh over here because Josh, he's a mage, so he can throw spells, and he's a spellcaster, and he was trying to revive this guy, but you know what we realized? His head wasn't attached, so. I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know if it's real. I think it might be a fake. But
So, like when you're a child, you can like run around and play, like pretend for ages, or I could. I was in the garden, like pretending I was a cowboy. And then I'd run around the corner, and then
And your sister was an Indian.
someone was there, and I was like, it's kind of
Awkward.
ruined my fantasy, so then I had to run away again. But at some point that switches, and clearly for some people it doesn't. They're just like, they carry on going, and then, the world is just not good enough of a place for them to live in, so they need an
Good
alternate
way to
reality.
get an escape.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or you just read a book.
that's true.
Yeah. Listen, have any of you ever gone for a good massage here in Berlin?
I haven't been to a massage since I moved to.
I don't know if you
Europe.
smell, but I smell still like the massage oil I've just come from. Very good.
Wondering what that stink was.
Sorry, say that again. Sorry, say that one more time.
I've just been to a massage.
And you
People
came
are-
from there, from the place.
From the place, I then traveled. Yeah. And I still smell of the oil that they use for the massage.
Sure, buddy.
But I asked them for a deep tissue massage because I always think that
Yeah, you
beforehand
did.
it's good. And but then when they get into it, you're like, oh
It
God,
hurts. Yeah.
it hurts. But I mean, big fan of the pain. But then when they find something and they just sort of fucking, then she
Don't do that hand movement.
She kept telling me like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this out." I was like, "Fucking hell, lady, I think I'm gonna have to leave soon because this is a bit too intense." And then she gave me like a little spirit card with my chi and stuff for today. Felt very good.
What's your chi saying?
Left leg's fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's about a
Massages.
40% chance that it's
Have you
already
ever been to a
raining.
massage?
I've never ever had a massage.
While I was lying there, I was like, Klaus might enjoy this.
I don't think, but he never does something for himself, bro.
It's true, but he started to a little bit.
But that is also, you like suffering, so maybe it's good. She can hurt you a bit.
But we can also get it to him for him as like a gift.
Oh, that's true.
For
I
his next-
don't need charity.
No, it's a gift.
It's a
gift?
gift.
It's not a
Fucking hell.
donation.
Yeah, not like out of nowhere. Like it's something will have to have happened, like your birthday or something.
It's not like I'm giving. It's not like I'm giving a used massage. Second-hand
second-hand
massage.
massage.
I'll go to one, and then whatever they did to me, I'll try and do to you.
Or like I'll book myself an hour and you can have the last 3 minutes
Submy and coach.
just to get touched up a little bit.
But the same oil, otherwise it gets too expensive.
Yeah.
No, massage. I have a love-hate relationship with massages because the whole act of like me taking my clothes off and then some stranger steps into a room and touches me is bizarre. I did it once in.
I can see that being a bother for you.
In,
What about a head massage?
eventually, I think eventually, the thing is, it's always the barrier of entry to me. Eventually, then I relax. Then I can kind of embrace it. But it just, like, I think that often subliminally just stops me from going, oh, let me go for a massage. Went to massage once. That's the last massage I went to, actually, about 2 years before I moved to Europe in Rivonia there they've got that little sort of almost like a little Chinatown going on there.
Yeah.
Where Avastar used to be. And went for a Thai massage there, and then literally this old lady Chinese lady was on my back at some point.
Like standing.
I felt at some point I was like, wow, this woman is strong. And I kind of then could have looked up, and she literally had both my hands, like I was like a spatchcock chicken, and she was holding me, and she was just, and I was like, whoa. And I felt amazing afterwards, but if I'd known she would have done that before, there's no fucking way I would have booked it. No
Do
way.
you ever go for acupuncture?
No.
It creeps me out as well, the thought of it.
I hate needles.
And also chiropractors. Also, I'm scared he decides to.
Chiropractor I enjoyed.
I know you like. I'm scared he wrecks something the
I'd
wrong
also
way and it
go-
never comes back.
I would rather go for acupuncture than for chiropractor.
Really?
100%.
So it's one of those things on those videos when I watch them and they get like sometimes I think they edit the videos afterwards to add a few cracks in there, but some of those people like can't walk,
Yeah.
and then they can walk.
I see. We know we live in like in a world where we've got it too good when people are taking their dogs to like dog chiropractors.
Dog
chiropractor.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people walk in, they're like, "Look, my one arm's shorter," and then suddenly, "Oh, look, my arm's longer." And then just stretch the shoulder forward.
Well, she said my posture's terrible at the massage now, and I said, "Damn straight it is."
Did you tell her you've been lying on the couch with your head like this
Yeah, no.
for the last 6 weeks?
I don't think any human being has good posture.
I mean, there are people who pay very strong attention to their posture, and you can see it.
And then they look like wankers. Look at me. Fuck off.
Well, women generally have way better posture than guys, and I don't know if that's
I think you could make that statement. I think
biological thing, or if that's just they're way more sort of conscious of.
Yeah, I think
trying to prove us right.
I think
Trying to prove us right.
they're trying to start an argument with me. Anything else for What a Week this week?
No.
No, I think
As the sun
my Western
gently
story.
kisses Klaus's face, I think it's time to wrap this one up.
The next episode you see of me, I'm going to be Two-Face.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. As we said, subscribe if you haven't already. And otherwise, next week, we'll only be releasing one episode as we're traveling, but you'll still get a rugby episode. It won't be current, but...
Won't be time sensitive.
Well, I mean, it's time sensitive, but it's not...
It'll be current, but not like...
Yeah, we're not...
You'll understand it when you see it.
We're doing a deep dive on something timeless.
There we go. Cool. Thanks for listening.
Cheers. Bye-bye.